Hey guys, welcome back to Piccolo Week. Today we're talking about contemporary music. Imagine that. What I want to do with this video is kind of give you this Piccolo specific information, and then I'll link to the videos I make about contemporary flute sounds and everything like that, and those carry over into Piccolo. If you're watching this video when it comes out, I haven't covered all of the contemporary flute sounds just yet, but I'm going to be continuing that, so eventually these videos will be completely comprehensive, hopefully. Piccolo is unfortunately a little bit more limited in its sound world than its lower friends, and that has a lot to do with the material. On Tuesday I talked about sound quality and how Piccolo is a little bit more limited, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that because if you're playing a wood piccolo, you have some physical safety limitations to your instrument. A lot of you might not know about these things, and that's why I'm making this video specifically about new music, because I've seen a lot of people not even know that this is a problem, and that's something that I really want to address. And that's the fact that tongue ram, jet whistle, all the things that blow air directly into the instrument are really unsafe for piccolos, specifically wood piccolos. And that's because they'll crack. When you do in the flute or in the piccolo techniques, you're forcing warm air quickly through the instrument, and piccolo isn't built to handle that. Flute is great because it's metal, it's not gonna crack. There's no problems with heating and things like that. But when you heat a piccolo very quickly from the inside, there's way more issues with cracking. Piccolos are actually not too bad of an instrument in terms of cracking, but they do have a tendency to do so. They're a wood instrument, and that's part of the problems that we encounter, and doing those in the flute or in the piccolo techniques is going to amplify that issue tenfold. Personally, I will not do them, and you guys know, having seen my videos, that I am willing to try anything as long as it doesn't injure my instrument or cause damage to my instrument, and that is really where I do draw the line. I do know some players who are willing to risk it, and that's something that they make a conscious choice of because they are aware of the risks, but definitely you have to weigh the benefits of cracking your instrument over the sound and make that decision for yourself. Personally, I don't do it. The next thing is that the percussive techniques aren't going to sound as good as they will on the lower flutes. Those particular techniques rely on the resonance of the instrument itself. They rely on the tube resonating the sound. So here's a key click on piccolo. They're really not that loud because the tube is tiny. And the same is true for slap tongue. You can hear them. They're not terrible, but compared to what they sound like on flute or alto flute or bass flute, where you really hear distinct pitches and they're very, very effective, it's something that just doesn't work as well because it's a smaller instrument. And that unfortunately means that piccolo is limited in its sounds, whereas flute and the lower flutes have a lot more really exciting things that you can do with it. That's one of the reasons why piccolo is kind of maligned in contemporary music, and in music in general. Piccolo is kind of the butt of all jokes. That being said, there's some really cool things you can do with it. So a lot of you might know how low my vocal range is, and in my own music I explore a lot of textures with putting the flute and my voice at least an octave apart. That's something that's not unique to me, but is something that I have a lot of control over and is unique to people with my voice type. However, with piccolo, everyone's an octave below it because very few people can sing the heart of the range of piccolo because it's so unbelievably high. That means that doing the singing techniques has more difference tones available, and there's some really cool sounds you can make. It's the same sound world as any kind of singing technique on a flute instrument, but because you have that very bright, very present piccolo sound, it gets a lot of really exciting, really cool textures. And anyone who knows me in person knows how much I love difference tones, so clearly that's something that I am really excited about. The other thing that piccolo does incredibly well, and I've talked about this before, is whistle tones. Because it's a higher instrument and it's closer to those partials to begin with, it actually has a lot more control in whistle tones. Obviously there's some wavering in the pitch because it's a whistle tone and that's how that works, but you can actually hear pitch and you can actually like aim for pitch. I'm sorry for the background noise, it's windy and I need the windows open because my apartment's hot. But you get actual pitch and control, and that gives you a lot of really cool possibilities of being able to use whistle tones in more than just an ambient setting. They're also louder because they're more stable and they're easier to play. If you've seen my video about whistle tones, you know that I really emphasized that they're very difficult to play in performance because you get nervous. Whistle tones on piccolo are the easiest to produce, which means that they're more reliable. So it's a really cool thing. And I'm not recommending that you like have someone switch to piccolo just to play whistle tones. If that's something that you want to do, then cool, but it's kind of an annoying thing to have to bring out a piccolo just to play like tea kettle sounds, just saying. But it's still a really cool possibility that is really unique to this poor little instrument. One of the things I really want to emphasize in this series is that piccolo is an amazing, not super versatile, but relatively versatile instrument, and we need to stop treating it like a pariah. It's a really cool thing. Piccolo also has complete ability to play multiphonics and harmonics and a lot of the sound techniques that flute does. You can do air sounds, because those don't require you to force air through the piccolo, they're just air wasted over the piccolo. So basically any sound that doesn't require air to go directly into the piccolo in a not traditional way is totally up for grabs, and you get a really cool sound with some of them because of the woody nature of the instrument. Those are actually pretty beautiful harmonics, and they aren't as hard to hit because, again, it's a smaller instrument, the partials are closer together, and the instrument itself is designed to hit those high notes. A lot of composers are super interested in writing for piccolo because it's not written for very often. And if you're really interested in playing more music for piccolo, go talk to a composer and say, hey, I want a piccolo piece, or I want a piccolo recital, would you write a piece for it? And 95% of the time, they're gonna do it because composers like a challenge and they like something different, and piccolo presents that, having not been something that people play solo very often. I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna link Tuesday's video as well as the contemporary music series and anything else that I can find that I think is gonna be helpful. Let me know if there's other things, again, that you want me to cover or you think I missed. I'm more than happy to make more than 3 videos on piccolo, and again, if you want me to make these videos for flute and alto flute, again, let me know. If you like this video, give it a like. If you're new here, subscribe. If you want to support me more, check out my Patreon, and I will see you guys on Saturday.